Good morning and welcome. I'm Carrie Laycock, a proud member of the class of 2009 and the Vice President for Development and Alumni Engagement. I invite everyone to silence their cell phones as we begin the 227th commencement ceremony at Washington and Jefferson College. If everyone listens very closely, you will hear the bell toll 3 times in honor of our 3 founders, John McMillan, Thaddeus Dodd, and Joseph Smith. I invite you to now please stand if you're able and join me in welcoming the class of 1976. In keeping with a cherished tradition at Washington and Jefferson College, I'm honored to welcome the class of 1976 as they celebrate their 50th reunion and take their place in W&J's Old Guard. This distinguished group stands as guardians of the college's traditions and stewards of its wisdom and history. Over the past 5 decades, members of the class have shaped industry, built communities, and touched countless lives. Their accomplishments spanned as fields as diverse as medicine, law, business, science, education, the arts, and literature. Their expertise has driven innovation, their leadership has inspired others, and their dedication has left a lasting impact on the world around us. But their legacy is far greater than titles and careers. Beyond their professional success, they've been mentors, guiding the next generation with wisdom gained through experience. They've been proud parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, passing down the values of integrity, perseverance, and kindness. They've been dedicated volunteers, giving back to their community with a generous heart. And most importantly, they have remained steadfast role models for students in W&J, past and present, embodying the spirit of what we hold dear: lifelong learning, service, philanthropy, and excellence. Please join me in welcoming the class of 1976. I invite you to remain standing as we welcome the class of 2026 and remain standing for the invocation and the singing of America the Beautiful.
This begins the 227th commencement exercises of Washington and Jefferson College.
Good morning. Dr. McLeod-Walls, I'm honored to share the stage with my college advisor, Dr. Michael Crabtree, for this momentous commencement exercise. Thank you for extending the opportunity for me to bless the ceremony with this invocation. May we bow our heads. Heavenly Father, today we gather with grateful hearts to celebrate this sacred milestone in the lives of these graduates. We thank you for the journey that has brought each student to this moment, for the long nights of study, the perseverance through challenges, the friendships formed, and the wisdom gained along the way. We ask your blessing upon the graduates as they complete one chapter and prepare to begin the next. Grant them courage for the road ahead, wisdom in their decisions, and compassion in how they serve others. May they use their gifts not only for personal success, but for the betterment of their communities and the world around them. Lord, we also lift up the families, loved ones, faculty, staff, mentors, and supporters who have walked beside the graduates. Thank you for every sacrifice made, every lesson taught, every prayer offered, and every word of encouragement that helped make this day possible. Bless this ceremony to be filled with joy, reflection, and hope for what lies ahead. And may your presence guide each of us as we celebrate achievement, honor purpose, and look toward a promising future with faith. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
You may be seated. Good morning, presidents, and welcome to Washington and Jefferson College's 227th commencement ceremony. I am Elizabeth McLeod-Walls, and I have the privilege of serving as the 14th president of Washington and Jefferson College. Graduates, today marks more than a celebration of your accomplishments. It marks a meaningful point of transition. Your time at W&J has extended well beyond the classroom. It's been defined by personal growth, intellectual discovery, and a steady development of resilience. You have encountered challenges, responded to change with purpose, and demonstrated a capacity for navigating complexity. As you prepare for what comes next, a career, graduate study, or a new and unexpected path, you do so with the tools to adapt thoughtfully and the confidence to thrive intentionally in a dynamic world. This morning, you officially joined the ranks of W&J alumni, a proud and far-reaching network united by shared experiences, lasting friendships, and a deep connection to this college. We are especially honored to welcome back members of the class of 1976 who returned to celebrate the 50th anniversary of their commencement. Class of 1976, please rise. If you're able. All right. Class of 1976, you are stewards of W&J's legacies, keepers of the stories, the traditions, and yes, even the secrets of the college. On behalf of the faculty, staff, students, and alumni gathered here today, it is my distinct pleasure to formally induct you, the class of 1976, as the newest members of the W&J Old Guard. Congratulations. You may be seated. There was a time in the college's earliest years when every graduate delivered remarks at commencement, a tradition that, while rich in spirit, would be somewhat ambitious today. Fortunately, the class of 2026 will be represented this morning by one outstanding student, Rocio Rosales, who was selected through a thoughtful and competitive process by a committee of faculty and staff. A political science major with a minor in public policy from Lamont, California, Rocio has embraced every opportunity to lead, advocate, and serve during her time at Washington and Jefferson College. Through her involvement in the Liberal Arts Council, Mock Trial, the Pre-Legal Society, and Kappa Alpha Theta, she has demonstrated a strong commitment to creating meaningful change both on campus and beyond. Following graduation, she plans to earn her paralegal certification prior to attending law school. She wants to work with nonprofit organizations across Pennsylvania and California to spread awareness of immigration across the United States, and she advocates for equal treatment across underrepresented communities. Please join me in welcoming Rocio Rosales.
They really put the most nervous person up on the stage, I'm gonna be honest. Welcome, professors, mentors, families, and most importantly, my fellow graduates. For those who don't know me, my name is Rocio Rosales, and it is an honor to stand here today and share this moment with all of you. First, I think we owe ourselves a moment, not just a round of applause, but recognition. Because making it here was never just about passing classes. It was about persistence, identity, and in many cases, survival. When we first stepped into our academic journeys, we carried optimism without fully understanding what the world would demand from us. We believed in effort, in routine, in the simple idea that if we showed up, things will fall into place. But reality, as we learn, does not always meet us gently. We live through disruption, through uncertainty, war, instability, and inequality. Through moments where the world outside classrooms felt heavier than anything we could ever think of. We cannot ignore these moments because for many of us, success was never built in isolation. It was built in households where sacrifice was normal, where early mornings and late nights were not optional, where our parents or those who raised us carried burdens so we could carry books instead. My parents came to this country with very few belongings, but with a vision that extended far beyond themselves. And while they did not have everything, they made sure I never went without. Every notebook, every opportunity, and every quiet moment of encouragement that said, keep going. And so, when people ask, how do you do it? I tell them, it's never been just me. It is them. It is every parent who worked through exhaustion, every family member who believed in something they could not yet see, every sacrifice that was made without recognition. This moment belongs to them just as much as it belongs to us. Because for many of us, walking across the stage is not just an achievement, it is a shift, a breaking of cycles, a redefinition of what our futures can look like. We are stepping into a world that will challenge us, that will ask us who we are and what we are willing to stand for. And in uncertain times like these, we must show that we belong. Not because we were told we could, but because we exist, because we persist, and because we carry generations of resilience within us. And for me, that resilience has a face: my father. My father was the first in the family to immigrate into the United States. He arrived with this: 20 pesos in his pocket, AKA $1 in US money. He left behind his home, his family, his language, and everything necessary. But not because it was easy, but because he needed to. It was his necessary. He stepped into his country with nothing but determination, willingness, and a Mexican-American dream to endure whatever came next. And because of that, I grew up in a childhood built entirely on sacrifice. Because while I had the privilege of stability, I never had the privilege of certainty. Before I could even fully understand the world, I was walking through the corridors of a jail, searching for my family before they were sent back to Mexico. I learned what deportation looked like before I knew what it even meant. I watched people I love go silent for weeks, only to return with the same sentence: I'm back in Mexico. And yet, despite that, despite everything we as individuals are labeled as, everything we are reduced to in conversations, we are still here. If we allowed others to define us, we might not be sitting here today. And I would not have the honor, the privilege, the responsibility of wearing this cap and gown. So, no matter where life takes us, there is one thing we cannot afford to forget: who we are and where we came from. Because we are shaped by stories that did not begin with us, but by cultures, struggles, and sacrifices that run deeper than any title we will ever hold. And whether our roots trace back to Mexico, the United States, or anywhere around the world, we carry them with us, and they do not make us smaller. They make us stronger. Because we're not just the graduates of today, we're the voices of tomorrow. And what we choose to do with that voice matters. So, as we leave this chapter behind, please remember, do not shrink yourselves to fit into spaces that were not built with you in mind. Expand, challenge, and redefine them. Because if there's anything our journeys have proven, it is that we were never meant to simply exist within the world as it is. We were meant to change it. And for those who came here with nothing, for those who are fighting to stay, and for those who never got a chance to stand on stage like this, we carry them with us in every step, in every door, and in every future. Thank you. Congratulations to all of you. Mami, papi, sí se pudo y siempre se va a poder.
Thank you, Rocio. Each year, members of the senior class select one outstanding staff member and one outstanding faculty member as a gesture of gratitude and respect. These esteemed individuals will be introduced to the class of 2030 at their matriculation in the fall as honorees of this year's graduates. This year's Outstanding Staff Awardee is Thomas Payne from W&J Dining. Presenting the award on his behalf of the class of 2026 is Jack Sacco. Jack is from Monessen, PA, graduating with major in mathematics and minors in communication arts and economics. At W&J, Jack was a broadcaster for W&J Athletics, served as an assistant baseball coach, was vice president of the Pi Mu Epsilon Math Honor Society, and a member of Lambda Pi Eta, the Communication Arts Honor Society. Jack also served as the Master of Ceremony for the Presby Awards over the past 2 years. After graduation, Jack plans to work in sports administration or sports analytics and will continue broadcasting. Please welcome Jack.
Thank you, Dean Eva. Good morning. I have the honor of introducing you to Thomas Payne, who was voted by the W&J community to represent the class of 2026 as Outstanding Staff Member of the Year. I want you to think about something for a moment. Over the course of 4 years at W&J, many faces become familiar from unexpected places. For many of us, one of those faces belongs to Thomas. If you're like me, you've seen him almost every day, maybe 2 or 3 times even, when you go to eat at Comms, at the grill, making his excellent omelets at breakfast, or doing whatever is needed throughout the dining hall when he's called upon. And when you see him, there's one constant. He always has that smile on his face ready for you. And it's not an accident. That's just who Thomas is. Thomas has been a part of the W&J family since February 2004. That's more than 22 years of showing up day after day with the same warmth and dedication he brought from the very beginning. His official title is grill cook, but anyone who patronizes or works in the dining hall could tell you that doesn't do justice in describing Thomas's effect on comms. He has always been willing and able to step into any role the dining team needs, because for Thomas, it has never been about the job description. It has always been about the people. His coworkers will tell you he's the definition of a team player. Thomas is reliable, he's trustworthy, and he's hardworking in the way that can help hold an entire operation together. The students will tell you that he took times to get to know them. He remembered names, faces, even sometimes what that person's favorite omelet order was. Stopping by his station wasn't just to go get food, but ended up being a conversation with somebody who genuinely cares. That presence matters, especially at a small school where the faces are most often familiar. If you were a student who was nervous to start school, far from home, or still just trying to find your place, Thomas was a constant, familiar, friendly, a face that made this place feel more like home. It is no small thing to spend 22 years caring about people the way Thomas does. His empathy, patience, and his consistency have left a mark on the campus that no award can fully capture. But we can try our best to come close here, since it comes from each and every one of us. Please join me in welcoming your Outstanding Staff Member of the Year, Mr. Thomas Payne.
Thank you, Jack. This year's Outstanding Faculty Awardee is Dr. Robbie Iallucci. Unfortunately, Dr. I had a previous commitment and is unable to join us today. And I believe we may have a picture of him if you're unfamiliar. He asked me to extend an apology on his behalf, and he was heartened to know that Anjali Jain would be presenting the award to him in his absence. behalf of your class, the class of 2026. Anjali is from Westfield, New Jersey, and at W&J, she majored in chemistry with a minor in economics. On campus, Anjali was a member of several honor societies, Alpha Lambda Delta, Gamma Sigma Epsilon, and also was a part of the Washington Fellows Program. Anjali served as a PAL tutor and studied abroad in London last fall. Last month, Anjali, along with two of her peers, presented their Washington Fellows coins to Dr. I in honor of his impact of them as students and scholars. After graduation, Anjali plans to travel with her friends and family before starting work. Please help me welcome Anjali.
Thank you, Dean Eva. Good morning, everyone. I have the honor of introducing you to Dr. Robbie Iolucci, who was voted by the W&J community to represent Outstanding Faculty Member of the Year for the class of 2026. Dr. I has had a meaningful impact on my growth, both academically and personally. I first had the pleasure of working with him during my sophomore year, and from that point on, he has been firmly in my corner. But the thing about Dr. I is that he's in everyone's corner. Any student who has worked with him can tell you just how supportive, encouraging, and invested he truly is. He wants nothing more than to see his students succeed and flourish in whatever path they choose. One of the things that makes Dr. I so special is how intentional he is about helping students connect what we learn in the classroom to the real world. He constantly creates opportunities for students to network, explore careers, and gain hands-on experience. He has extensive research experience himself, although between me and you, I still only understand a very small bit of it. But he encourages students to get involved, ask questions, and challenge themselves. Through his mentorship, many of us have gained not only technical skills, but also confidence in ourselves as students and future professionals. I know several people, myself included, whose career paths were shaped because Dr. I took the time to help us discover what we were passionate about. Throughout my time working with him, Dr. I has consistently pushed me to think more critically and trust my own abilities. He never simply handed out answers. Instead, he taught us how to think through problems, ask better questions, and grow through the learning process. There were definitely times when I had hoped he would just tell me the answer and save me the struggle. But Dr. I always came back with one simple question: why? That question has stuck with me far beyond the classroom, and it has shaped the way I approach challenges in every part of my life. What makes him especially deserving of this recognition, though, is the way he cares about students beyond academics. Him and his wife have welcomed students into their home countless times, giving us a place to relax, laugh, and feel supported during some of the busiest and most stressful parts of college life. During one of the most difficult semesters of my academic career, his encouragement reminded me that setbacks do not define our potential. I know I'm not alone in saying that his kindness and willingness to invest in students has made a lasting impact on so many of us. And of course, anyone who knows Dr. I knows he brings a sense of humor and energy into every classroom and lab. Even during stressful moments, he somehow manages to make students feel comfortable, capable, and welcomed. That balance of mentorship, professionalism, humor, and genuine care is rare, and it is one of the many reasons he is so respected and appreciated by his students. Faculty Member of the Year recognizes excellence in teaching, mentorship, and dedication to students, and there is truly no one more deserving of this honor. On behalf of the many students' lives whose you have impacted, thank you for your guidance, your care, and your unwavering support. Congratulations, Dr. I, on this incredibly well-deserved recognition.
Good morning. For those of you I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Jeff Frick, though around campus I'm sometimes called Dean Frick. I serve as Dean of the College and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Yesterday morning, the Board of Trustees took several actions recognizing members of our faculty for their professional excellence and dedicated service to the college. Today, it is my privilege to share those recognitions with you. It is my honor to recognize these distinguished members of our faculty. It's my pleasure to announce that Dr. Fawn Doherty has been promoted to the rank of full professor. Dr. Linda Edwards has received tenure. And the following faculty have been promoted to associate professor with tenure: Professor Carolina Alamia, Dr. Sean Coyne, Dr. Zachary Klingensmith, Dr. Ian Lanzalotti, Dr. Nicholas Meriden, and Dr. Mary Ryan. Please join me in congratulating all of them.
Each year at commencement, we have the privilege of hearing from a speaker who brings perspective, insight, and a unique journey to share with our graduates. Today, we are honored to welcome Thomas Rooney, class of 1993. A proud alumnus of Washington and Jefferson College, Tom has built a career defined by service, leadership, and a deep commitment to country and community. During his time at W&J, he excelled both academically and athletically as a two-sport letter winner in football and golf. He went on to attend the University of Miami School of Law, where he earned his Juris Doctorate before serving our nation as an officer in the U.S. Army JAG Corps. As a prosecutor at Fort Hood and later as an instructor at West Point, he helped shape the next generation of military leaders. Tom continued his service in the halls of Congress, representing the 17th Congressional District in Florida in the U.S. House of Representatives for a decade. During that time, he played a key role on the Agriculture, Armed Services, and Intelligence Committees and was entrusted with leadership as a deputy whip. Today, he continues to lead on a national stage as president and chief executive officer of the National Thoroughbred Racing Association, guiding one of the country's most historic industries. Throughout his career, Thomas Rooney has demonstrated a commitment to service, leadership, and making an impact far beyond his own path. Please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker, the Honorable Thomas J. Rooney.
Thank you, President. Sorry. Congratulations to all the graduates. Stealing a line from one of our former presidents, especially to our honored distinguished graduates with good grades. For the rest of us that are C students, you too can be a U.S. Congressman. So today, we're going to talk about beginning your legacy. But first, being an Irish American and a former Washington and Jefferson English major, I'd like to start with, I think, a timely poem by William Butler Yeats. Turning and turning in the wild gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed and everywhere. The ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. In the 10+ years between 2008 and 2019, while running and serving in Congress, there was no social media. When I first got elected and when first was running, there was no TikTok, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. There was only newspapers, which we had to go interview in front of, and because the internet was sort of also new, they had stories posted on the internet with comment sections underneath. The closest thing we had to social media back then was people being able to comment on the story above. But in the time while I was in Congress, we started getting social media. And for even more context on how the world has changed in the 33 years since I sat in the seats that you are in, although it was in that other room and there was no air conditioning, I don't remember who my commencement speaker was. I didn't really care. I just wanted to go to dinner with my grandparents, and so I will try to keep that in mind and be brief. When I graduated, there was no internet. There was no email. We read the paper, we sent letters, and waited for days for a reply, if any. We met up to talk for coffee, for beers. Nobody constantly or publicly liked or followed everything that we did. You could have long conversations with a group of friends. You could go dance and not worry about being filmed by your friends and it somehow ending up on social media. When you broke up with somebody, you actually had to do it face to face. But I digress. When I first ran for Congress in 2008, like I said, we didn't have the social media that's so prevalent today. And I think that that's going to be important for a reason for what we're talking about. You may have something similar happen in the next few years of your life with AI, but I am not here to talk about AI. When I got elected, it was important for you to be a good soldier. It moved you up the ladder. If you did the teamwork that allowed you to get the committee assignments that you want, or to try to get into leadership, or to try to be a chairman of a committee, you kept your head down, you followed the rules, you were a good soldier, and you were rewarded. I employed that strategy and was awarded the Intelligence Committee, which is extremely hard to get on. But then something started to happen over the next few years. There was a different crop of politicians coming in that mirrored the social media time. Working together and getting things done started to become the antithesis of how you would succeed. Being a moderate and compromising and being a team player, as I said, was a good thing. Then it became the worst thing that you could be. Being a good soldier was thrown out the window. Having shock value from a tweet or a post became more valuable politically, for fundraising, going after your own, calling out your own speaker, calling out your own leadership, calling out your own party, calling out your own country. That's what got you likes, that's what got you followers, and that's what got you reelected. Being a politician was no longer about getting things done, it was about getting famous and getting reelected. So the center was not holding. I'll give you one little anecdote. When I first got elected, I was in the Army before that, and I went through basic training with a guy named Patrick Murphy from Philadelphia. We also taught at West Point together. Patrick got elected to Congress 2 years before I did. In fact, Patrick, that I was just like, man, I'm smarter than Patrick. If he can get elected to Congress, I can get elected. So I ran and I won. He actually held signs for me down in Jupiter, Florida, on the side of the road, Rooney for Congress, as a sitting Democratic member of Congress. I don't think anybody knew who he was, but... So I was having dinner with Murph in a restaurant in D.C., and some of my leadership came in the room, some older people that were in my party. They sort of gave me like this eyeball look, like, what is he doing having dinner with that guy? In fact, I was called into the office, the principal's office, the next day, saying, what was up with that? And I said, we were in the Army together, we went through basic training together, and we taught at West Point together. We played intramural basketball for 4 years together. They're like, oh, okay, well, So that was my first clue that the kind of cooperation between the parties in getting things done was going to be very difficult. In fact, in the time that I was in Congress, you had Republicans versus Obama, Pelosi versus the Tea Party, the Freedom Caucus versus fellow Republicans, the Squad and AOC versus moderate Democrats, Trump versus against the press, Trump against traditional conservative, Trump against everyone, everyone against everyone. This is what I like to call angertainment. In social media and on cable news, anger sells. Anger so much so that, I'll give you an example. My mother is 85 years old. She's in great shape. Every time I go over to her house and talk to her, she's always angry about something. Well, did you hear this? Did you hear that? I'm like, Mom, turn off Fox News, get out of your bathrobe, and go do something. After several of these arguments with my mother, she finally said to me, she's just like, Tom, I like to be angry. And so I'm just like, all right, well, enjoy that, I guess, for the rest of your life. But the problem with that is that the extremes now will be in control. The extremes are in control. And for getting things done and for the center to hold, I think that we have to come back to some kind of cooperative society and some kind of understanding that we can live together. As I said, the middle was collapsing, and the center could not hold, and compromise was a dirty word. The conference of the mature, or the adults in the room, were leaving Congress. Legislation stopped. There was no more Schoolhouse Rock. Bills on Capitol Hill, you might not even know what that references to, but you guys do. And all it became is debt limit votes, continuing resolutions, and the occasional omnibus to keep the government funded. In my own district, I went from first getting elected to going to county chairman. I had 15 counties in the state of Florida, about 1 million people. My county chairmen would help me canvass, they'd help me make phone calls, they'd help me fundraise, they'd get speaking engagements for me. This was the first couple terms that I got elected. By the time that I was in my last term, every time I'd go to a county party event, I was just getting yelled at. And so my boys were getting to the age where they were playing high school football, and that's when I decided not to run for re-election. So I say this all to you as a student of history, and citing the poem that I did that's quite old. We've actually been here before, and this is nothing new. And the answers to all of these problems is not for me to just get up here and to tell you how bad everything is in Washington, D.C. It's to ask you to do something about it. This is up to you. Every generation of Americans has tried to get better than the last generation. The little funk that we're in right now politically and as a society with social media, with cable news, at some point has to end or the center is going to break. And it's up to you to try to figure out. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you what you have to do. I'm just going to ask you to please figure out a way to fix it. The future is certainly yours. Before I close, I'm going to give you some advice. I've hired probably over 50 people in my time in Congress and my current job, and there are some tips that I would like to give you as a employer, as an old guy that, you might look at me and say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's, down talking social media. I almost said something else. Down talking social media and all this other kind of thing. But I'm still the guy that's hiring you all. And I'm still the guy that is looking at resumes. So just try to remember this, or at least as they say, fake it until you make it. This is going to be pretty specific, so try to bear with me. If you are meeting with me and getting ready for a job interview, or we're having coffee or grabbing a beer, if you are talking to me with an earbud in, or you're looking at your phone at all, or even if you have the phone on the table, you are not getting the job. It's not that I don't like you. I just kind of feel like you think that something is more important to me, and that hurts my feelings. In looking for a job, you need to stress how you are going to make my life better. I'm the boss. You're coming to work for me. This job isn't about how I'm going to make your life better. Every day you come to work, it's about what you're going to do for me so I can do less work and maybe go play golf. If you do that for me, you're more likely to get the job. I hate this term, but I hear it all the time, and it's true, is you have to be present. I know you hear that all the time, and it is annoying, so I get that. But if you have a resume where you have a great job, and you're applying for a job for me, and then you worked, I'll give you an example politically, you worked at the Department of Defense for 6 months, then you worked at the FBI for 6 months, then you worked at the CIA for 6 months, and now you're coming to work for Congressman Tom Rooney as my military advisor. You're at the top of my list because of all the things that you did, but then I'm thinking for a second, this guy can't hold a job or this girl can't hold a job for more than 6 months in one place. So you're going to work for me for 6 months, and then I'm going to put all this time and effort into you, and then you're going to bounce on me. So if you can, especially earlier in your career, I'm not saying be somewhere and be miserable, but if you can, try to stick jobs out for at least a year or two for resume purposes and moving up the ladder. I'll move a little more quickly here. Be very kind to secretaries and assistants. They are the gatekeeper to everything that you want. If you're looking for a job or looking for something from somebody that you want, the secretary usually is the last person to talk to that person at the end of the day. And if she or he says something to the effect of, I really like that person, they were really nice. They wrote me a handwritten letter after saying thank you for getting me that meeting or whatever. Send them handwritten notes, send them a bottle of wine, anything. But if secretaries like you, then the boss is going to be like, I don't really remember meeting that guy, but if you like them, then I like them, they're hired. It actually works that way. Eye contact, handshakes, firm handshakes, not jellyfish. Writing notes. If you get a little bit older for your resume, join civic groups like the Kiwanis Club or the Rotary Club or your church's community service or synagogue community service clubs. Having something other than just what your jobs were is important. Even coaching Little League Baseball is important. So having that stuff on your resume really does help. I won't actually, somebody in my office will look at your social media. So if you have wacky stuff on there that is going to potentially affect other people in my office's opinion of you, they're going to come to me and be like, you can't hire that person. Listen to what they posted on Instagram 3 years ago. It's going to hurt you. So if you have social media right now that's open to the public, please look at it, clean it up. No crazy pictures of you holding an Iron City and whatever. Get all of that stuff off there now. This is a tough one. 2 more. I have some very, very dear friends that I met at the Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity here at Washington and Jefferson, which is no longer on campus, no longer a fraternity here. But some of those guys I still keep in contact today. Some of them are still my dearest friends. Some of them, unfortunately, could not graduate or did not stop the college lifestyle after we left here. And their lives sort of spiraled in the wrong direction. That's going to be some of you in this room, and I hope that you realize that this is your chance to figure out what you want to be and where you want to go. But for some of you, it's just going to be inevitable. And it's going to be really difficult for those of your friends to try to keep help saving you and to keep help pulling you up. At some point, I hate to say this, at some point you have to cut negative people out of your life. And they could even be your best friends. But if you want to get to where you want to be, They really, you try as much as you can for as long as you can. But it's up to them to get their lives together, not you, after a certain point. My last little tidbit here is, in this world of post-COVID and Zoom, you will be much more liked, rewarded, and promoted if you show up to work. I know that you're allowed to Zoom. Oh, this is a great job. They allow me to work from home. Do they have an office? Can you go in? Is the boss at work? If the boss is at work and you can go in, then go into work. Because if they're looking to move somebody up and you're the one that's at work every day and you're talking about the Pirates game or you're talking about this or that other and you're going to lunch with them and then there's an opening, oh, there's a couple people that work for us that just chime in on Zoom, guess who's getting the promotion? The person that comes to work. Now, I know that there's situations that make it impossible for people to go in, and I understand that. But if you have the option and you have the opportunity to go in and interact with other people on a daily basis, you have to show up. You have to be in the room. If you're in the room, it makes it so much easier for you to get promoted. Okay. I'll just close with this. Oh, one more thing. You have to take a day off. I know that's like biblical and like Sunday's a day for rest and all that, but taking a day off really does matter. Okay, the people next to you are not AI. The people next to you are real people that are full of emotions, feelings, fears, pride, wanting to go eat, getting out of here, stop listening to this old guy up here. They are also the future. As I said before, work your asses off. People will notice when you do. People will also notice when you don't show up, or if you're constantly late, or if you're slacking. You have the option right now to figure out who you want to be. Be in the room. Take care of yourselves physically. College is over. You got to recognize that. Nobody else is going to take care of you like you can. Whatever you want to be, your legacy starts right now. Thank you.
He's pretty tall. On important occasions such as commencement, Washington and Jefferson College's Board of Trustees often recognizes distinguished individuals whose lives and work exemplify the ideals of our mission. We do so by conferring the honorary doctorate. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I present to you as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, Christina Casadas. Christina Casadas, as a visionary leader in aviation, you have redefined the role of airports in shaping regional growth, global connectivity, and the traveler experience. As Chief Executive Officer of the Allegheny County Airport Authority, you have transformed Pittsburgh International Airport into a world-leading origin and destination airport, driving record growth while attracting new domestic and international passenger and cargo service. Under your leadership, the airport has become a model of innovation, from the completion of a new terminal designed for the post-pandemic world, built with a strong commitment to local contractors and regional labor, to becoming the first major airport globally powered entirely by a natural gas and solar microgrid, Achieving Carbon Neutrality. You have advanced a bold vision that positions airports not simply as transit points, but as vital, accessible gateways that reflect and serve their communities while inspiring the broader aviation industry. Your leadership has earned international recognition, including Airport of the Year honors from the air transport world and global distinction for innovation, sustainability, and forward-thinking design. In 2025, you were further honored as Pittsburgher of the Year. I didn't say Pittsburgher, I said Pittsburgher. Pittsburgher of the Year, a testament to your profound impact on the region. Through your service on corporate, civic, and financial boards, you have further strengthened the economic and cultural vitality of the Pittsburgh region. By the authority vested in me by Washington and Jefferson College and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, in token of which I present this diploma, and cause you to be invested with the hood appropriate to the degree. I think we're going to have our picture taken, so step here.
Wonderful. This year, we are proud to present for the second time the Anika Donnan Ronsley Award for Lifetime Philanthropic Commitment to Washington and Jefferson College. This is the highest honor bestowed by the President in recognition of individuals who have given sacrificially in support of W&J's mission, its students, and its vibrant future. Named in honor of Anika Donnan Ronsley, the college's first female trustee and largest benefactor, the award reflects the transformational impact of her generosity that will affect the lives of generations of W&J students. The college is blessed by alumni and friends who have nurtured a culture of philanthropy at W&J, as exemplified by Anika Donnan Ronsley and the recipients of this award bearing her name. Today, we are proud to honor a man whose life reflects both extraordinary professional achievement and an enduring commitment to giving back. A member of the class of 1961, John S. Reed's journey from Washington and Jefferson College to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology set the foundation for a remarkable career that would help shape modern banking. As chairman and CEO of Citigroup, he led with vision, innovation, and integrity, leaving a lasting impact on the global financial landscape. Today, we recognize something even more enduring than his professional accomplishments. John Reed is, at his core, a philanthropist in the truest sense of the word. He has remained deeply connected to this institution, not only through his leadership and service, but also through his unwavering generosity, much like Anika Donnan Ronsley. He has consistently invested in the future of W&J, supporting initiatives that advance our mission, strengthen our community, and create opportunity for generations of students. He gives not only of his resources, but also of his time, his insight, and his belief in Washington and Jefferson College. His legacy here is not defined by a single gift, but by a sustained commitment to our growth, progress, and possibility. For his extraordinary generosity, his steadfast support, and his enduring belief in the power of education, it is our honor to confer the Anika Donnan Ronsley Award to John S. Reed.
if I could just say a word or two. Look, it's an honor to join with those who have supported the college. We have to understand we wouldn't be here if people before us had not supported the college. We don't have an oil field in our backyard. We depend on support in order to be who we are. 60+ years ago, I sat here. I was graduating. I had a job at Goodyear in Akron, Ohio, in a factory, and I had an appointment with the U.S. Army because I had taken ROTC while here. I didn't have the slightest idea what my career might look like. As it turns out, it bore no resemblance to anything that I had ever thought of. I found myself in a different career. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it, captivating. I did well. And to my surprise, I ended up with more money than I had ever thought about. I thought that I was going to eat, but it never occurred to me that I would accumulate any wealth, but I did. And I've given back, not only to W&J, but to other things, and I've done it because I care. I think that institutions need support, and the institutions play a vital role in this country. And there are people sitting here right now who are going to follow a trajectory as I did, not having the slightest idea that what you do might lead to a situation where you too will be able to give back. And I wanted to say a few words about it because I would urge you to do it. The country needs it. Our institutions would not be what they were if they weren't supported. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It's better if it's just continual. Join the annual fund, et cetera, et cetera. But if you have the opportunity to give back, you know that you're doing something that is inherently good, but more importantly, you're supporting the next generations because the money you give now will be fruit for those who come beyond. And so I could say I'm honored to join a group of people who have supported W&J. I'm honored to be one who could, and I would urge each of you and the parents to think about this. If you have the opportunity, it's a worthwhile thing. Thank you.
All right, we're ready for the main event. We will now proceed to the awarding of degrees in due course. First, just a brief process matter. We have a professional photographer on board capturing the moment, so parents, family, and friends, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the moment. Class of 2026, the student marshals will guide you up here. You will come over to the side of the stage where the first photograph will be taken of you by the flags. Another marshal will then guide you up the stairs to cross the stage. Please walk slowly and enjoy the moment. You will shake hands with the president and receive your diploma. First to be recognized is the recipient of the degree of Master of Arts, Caitlin Loy.
By the authority vested in me by Washington and Jefferson College and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Kate.
The following students are graduating with Bachelor of Arts degrees. Alex Acosta. Valedictorian Marissa Ray Adams, summa cum laude. Jackson Reed Akers. Akramjan Ahmedjanov. Karis Marie Allen, summa cum laude. Hannah Rose Allen. Luke J. Alvarez. Claire Ray Anderson, magna cum laude. Jocelyn Sky Anglin. Hannah Marie Archer, cum laude. Gianna G. Baker. Sean Eric Banks. Dominic Allen Barca. Alex Earl Barclay, cum laude. Colby Walker Barrett. Shelby Lynn Barre, cum laude. Abdullah Berry. Andrew Michael Bauer. Bailey Elizabeth Beck. Nicholas James Beitel. Raish Marie Betancourt Rivera, cum laude. Lindsay Grace Blount, cum laude. Salutatorian Courtney Lee Bordley, summa cum laude. Kaylee Michelle Bogatz. Maya Nicole Belinda, cum laude. Jennifer Catherine Booth, summa cum laude. Danielle Lynn Bostjancic, cum laude. Ethan Michael Bowser, cum laude. Rhiannon Eileen Boyle, summa cum laude. Janaya Lucinda Bracy. Haven Brianna Briggs. Jalen Michael Broxy, cum laude. Edward Riley Bullock. Courtney M. Byers, magna cum laude. Selah Elizabeth Calacan. Caitlin Marie Campbell, magna cum laude. Reagan T. Carlson, summa cum laude. Juan Alexis Cedeno. Philip Anthony Sestaro III, summa cum laude. Carson David Chamberlain, magna cum laude. Joshua Robert Chambers, cum laude. Audrey Elizabeth Chapman. Tyler James Chernisky. Zoe Marie Chikborowski. Nathan Gabriel Clark. Mia Elizabeth Condosta, summa cum laude. Kana Rose Cooper, magna cum laude. Hannah Nicole Corey, cum laude. Valedictorian Jacob Ethan Cowden, summa cum laude. Alice D. Cunningham. Valedictorian Alma Dardari, summa cum laude. Ethan Taylor Davis, summa cum laude. Valedictorian Riley Shea Davis, summa cum laude. Simon T. Davis, magna cum laude. Madison Victoria Dieseroth. Kobe Angelo DeRosa. Victoria Sue Davir, summa cum laude. Joshua R. DeZenzo. Allison Elaine Dibish. Julia Elizabeth DePetro Harvey. Riley G. Dortenzo. Holden K. Dubois. Patrick Murphy Duggan, magna cum laude. Alex Paul Dewing. Hannah Elizabeth DuJordan. Valedictorian Aditi Duckley, summa cum laude. Valedictorian Luke Austin Ekman, summa cum laude. Anthony Michael Edwards, cum laude. Ryan James Yetzi. Bridget Nicole Everett. Abigail Christine Fabian, cum laude. Jonathan Michael Fileski, magna cum laude. Alyssa Nicole Fellebaum, cum laude. Faith Barbara Fetzko, magna cum laude. Isabella Marie Fiore, magna cum laude. Valerie Catherine Fisher, summa cum laude. Jacqueline Marie Fleisner, cum laude. Noah M. Flowers, cum laude. Jordan James Gasper. Pauline A. Gahn. Liliana Yusha George, cum laude. Justin Michael Geruso. Lilia Ella Gearing, summa cum laude. Maria Lynn Gillis. Colin Michael Galabayuski. Deanna Lee Grattan, cum laude. Rain Aaron Grotzmiller. Ivy Ann Gray, cum laude. Grace May Guthrie. Grant Patrick Guyton. Isie Guzman Liriano. Morgan Elizabeth Gwynn. Emma Leanne Hawley. Leah Victoria Harvey, cum laude. Preston Charles Henry. Lucas Andy Hillebrand. Karen Michael Hicksenbaum, magna cum laude. Kelsey Meredith Irons, summa cum laude. Maxwell James Jackman. Austin Michael Jacobs. Rainer Rakesh Java. Angley Jane, magna cum laude. Brandon Daniel Jacala, cum laude. Pooja Jakampudi. Linnea Marie Johansson, magna cum laude. Emily Nicole Johnson. Elijah Riker Jones. Megan Murphy Mayjoyce, cum laude. Mitch Alfred Kenny. Caden D. Kim, summa cum laude. Eli Joshua Kite. Annalise Nicole Klein. Nicholas Robert Corby. Matthew Robert Cordich. Audrey Elizabeth Coe, cum laude. Brendan J. Kroll. Levi Benjamin Krebs, cum laude. Colby Joseph Coons. Sydney Ellen Bailing Kolsick. Joseph Charles Lacey, cum laude. Carson Andrew Laconi. Sydney Rose Lang. Brandon Scott Learn. Sarah Grace Helene Lisvoris, summa cum laude. Harmony Rain Lewis. Chloe Ann Locastro, summa cum laude. Nathan C. Lomago. Susanna Elizabeth Lopez, cum laude. Stelany Zoe Lucian. Timothy J. Lynn. Valedictorian Eden Le Ma, summa cum laude. Jacob Robert McCosco. Elena Mae McPhail. Sophia Marie Maestra, magna cum laude. Alan Craig Magnelli, Jr. Rashima Singh Mal, summa cum laude. Kelly Eileen Maloney, magna cum laude. Lu- Lucius A. Marbella. Olivia Marie Mariuto. Reagan Grace Mash. Salutatorian Alexander Joseph Maslow, summa cum laude. Caleb Austin Matsus Chapman, magna cum laude. Jacob A. McDonald. Piper Laney McFarland. Mason Jeffrey McNett. Melvin Anthony McCrae, Jr. Trinity Dawn Manano, magna cum laude. Madeline Grace Miser. Brooke Elizabeth Mahalik. Aiden Paul Miller. Catherine Bailey Miller. Alexander J. Morosco. Cameron Edmund Moss, cum laude. Cameron Mulvaney. Nicholas Murtha Colucci. Valedictorian Gina Marie Mascaro, summa cum laude. Isabella Ann Nadio. Michael Gutheri Guji. Emma Angeline Nichols. Megan Rose Nichols. Nathan R. Nolan. Cody J. North. Ian Michael Novelli. Kendall Michaela Obley, magna cum laude. Casey Oluwa Enola Ogundipe, magna cum laude. Wyatt L. Olson. Ethan Thomas Orr. Maria Frances Paluda, summa cum laude. Robert Joseph Parknavy, cum laude. Juliana Grace Piranish. Vito Edward Pascal. Anthony Joseph Pass. Valedictorian Ishani Patel, summa cum laude. Grace J. Patterson. Morgan Elizabeth Pender. Braden Jonathan Penwell. Ariana Ercia Perez. Chase Connor Perry, cum laude. Tyler Lee Perry. Braden Joseph Petrarco. James Anthony Phillips, Jr. Sophia Marie Piscini, cum laude. Benjamin John Pierce. Beyonce Rosa Pierce. Valedictorian Andrew J. Platt, summa cum laude. Emily Marie Polk. Joseph J. Poor. Colton Michael Powers. Dwayne B. Pratt III. Tyler Primrose. Benjamin Paul Pascarich, magna cum laude. Olin Ludwig Putz. Abigail L. Rannigan. Nathaniel Michael Ratica, magna cum laude. John S. Radilla, magna cum laude. Connor Allen Roberts, cum laude. Alexander James Robbins, magna cum laude. Kelsey Elizabeth Robinson. Abigail Marie Rogers, summa cum laude. Bryce Grant Rodriguez Urim. Navon Seth Rupnarn. Rocio Rosales. Madison G. Rozier, cum laude. Emma Marie Rundle, summa cum laude. Riley Patterson Runyon, magna cum laude. John Patrick Sacco, magna cum laude. Jia Sama, cum laude. Brendan Camila Sanchez. Cooper C. Scarlett, cum laude. Lillian Babe Cecilia Shepis, summa cum laude. Mackenzie Eileen Schmeltz, magna cum laude. Sarah Jane Schneider, cum laude. Sarah Victoria Shriver, magna cum laude. Preston David Schrei, cum laude. Benjamin Corrado Schuler, summa cum laude. Elena Christina Sciuli, magna cum laude. Zachary Graham Seaman. Matthew C. Seidel. Robert Claire Sheeler. Tyler Scott Sheldon. Shayla Nadira Mae Simmons. Connor Richard Sims. Allison Nicole Singleton. Camille Harper Smith, magna cum laude. Cassandra Marie Smith, cum laude. James Lawrence Smith. Kai Jalen Smith. Casey Douglas Snee. Andrew Jacob Sokol. Logan Thomas Sokol. Sydney Cecilia Spack, magna cum laude. Max Lewis Stanger. Elijah Joseph Staub. Andrew Scott Stevens, summa cum laude. Bryn Marie Stewart. Jake William Steele. Ava Mari Taylor. Lauren M. T. Kelly, magna cum laude. Abigail Elizabeth Tester. Ashley M. Thiemer, summa cum laude. Aiden Christopher Thomas. James Maurice Thomas III. Three Tiger. Brianna Marie Toll. Matthew Michael Tukarchek. Lauren Jane Toulouse. Melissa Ann Tribley, cum laude. Francesca Sophia Typansky. Olivia Michelina Vecchio, cum laude. Brian Stephen Vogel Jr., cum laude. Angelo Michael Volumino. Elizabeth Aaron Walt, magna cum laude. Alexander Jesse Wardropper, magna cum laude. Eli Michael Westfort. Angelina M. Winters, cum laude. Kaylee Elizabeth Whitner, cum laude. Audrey Alana Wood, cum laude. Julia Elena Cleuna Woomer, cum laude. Evan Allen Ray, magna cum laude. Georgiana Faye Zavala-Driga. Lorenzo Sean Zini. Luke John Zilka. Let's have a round of applause for the class of 2026. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? Madam President, I present to you the class of 2026.
By the authority vested in me by the Washington and Jefferson College Board of Trustees and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and on behalf of the college faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. You may now move your tassels from the right side of your cap to the left side. Congratulations, W&J Class of 2026! Flying hats and everything. As we close today's ceremony, remember this is not just the end of your time at W&J. It's the beginning of all that comes next. Class of 2026, you leave with knowledge, resilience, and the ability to adapt and thrive. Congratulations on everything you have achieved. We cannot wait to see what you will accomplish. We invite everyone to join us in the Commons, the Lodge, and the Ballroom for our 1781 reception. This is an opportunity to congratulate the graduates and celebrate their remarkable success. I invite every graduate to take time during the day to cross the seal at Old Main with your family, friends, and classmates. This timeless tradition symbolizes both the beginning and the end of your journey here as students, first during matriculation, as you enter the community, and again at commencement as you step forward as graduates. Families and friends, when you exit this building, you may leave through the doors on my left or to the garage on my right. We ask that you allow the class of 2026 to exit first. You may meet them at the reception. Now I invite you all to stand if you are able as we conclude with the alma mater, the benediction, and the closing by the faculty marshal. Afterwards, you may be seated unless you are part of the formal recessional.
As we prepare to depart from this celebration, may the blessing of our Heavenly Father go with each graduate and with all who have gathered here today. May God grant you wisdom to lead with integrity, strength to persevere through challenges, and humility to remember those who help you along the way. May your education be more than a credential. May it become a calling to serve, to uplift, and to bring light wherever your path may lead. To the graduates, As one chapter closes, another begins. May you move forward with confidence, guided by faith, grounded in purpose, and inspired by hope. May you never lose sight of the values that you shaped here, nor the responsibility that comes with the opportunities before you. And may God bless this college community, your families, and your futures. Walk boldly into what comes next, grounded in faith and guided by purpose. Amen.
This concludes the 227th commencement of Washington and Jefferson College.
sorry, no, 15, 15, 15, the bottom of 15.
Oh, that's perfect, whatever it's called.
Bottom of 15.
All right, ready to go. Your name goes out.
You good? minuet. Repeat good. Nice job, everyone. Hey, can you all please make sure that the alma mater, America the Beautiful, and
right in front of the book,
is in the pocket there.
Put it in the pocket so we don't lose it.
Yes. I'll check that next year on Saturday night around 10 o'clock.
Exactly. Hey, usually it's the trombone and tuba books that get jacked up, you know. But I think you're good with us.
I think so. Everything was
It's
here
actually
this
the
year,
trombone
so
book.
that's good.
Yeah, it's trombones more than it is tubas, you know that.
I would think so, yeah. I would agree with that.
Sometimes you get like a pro that comes in and plays the book once, and then like, you better check it. It's like, it's even worse.
Oh, yes.
I'm here for Lou. What's that? It's on display right now. Thank you.